ESPN college basketball analyst, Seth Greenberg. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
What's up, guys? You guys still living the dream, man. Lottery pick, number one pick. Life is good. Mavs are back. Forget about Luca and move forward.
Yeah, we have a chance to move forward with presumptive number one overall pick Cooper Flagg, someone that you obviously know a lot about, having not only coached the ACC, but obviously watching a lot of Duke basketball. Of course, Cooper Flagg leading them to the Final Four this past year. Before we get into anything specific when it comes to Cooper Flagg, just your thoughts on his overall game and what he was able to do in his freshman year at Duke that will allow him to transition to the game in the NBA going forward.
Well, he started as a 17-year-old in college basketball. He finished as an 18-year-old. He's got positional size, ridiculous length, which enables him to have defensive range. He's got a ridiculous basketball IQ and feel. He makes hard plays look easy. You saw his improvement in his ability to shoot the three. He makes the game easier for everyone else. And I think that's the most important thing. And he impacts the game every time down the floor, offensively, defensively, with the ball, without the ball, as a passer, as a scorer. The guy makes hard plays look easy.
Seth, I can be a bit of a numbers nerd, and there are numbers that say Cooper is the best freshman, had the best freshman season since I think like 2000. There's only two players who have had a better freshman season, those two players being Zion Williamson and Anthony Davis. But numbers, of course, every time, like you pair them with the eye test. So I am curious, when you look, with your college basketball expertise, when you look at past collegiate prospects, where would you put Cooper Flagg in there? And is it reasonable to say that he is on par with an Anthony Davis, a Zion Williamson? Just where does he fit into that mix of just the ceiling of a collegiate prospect?
It's the one and dones. In terms of as a NBA prospect, his game translates much better than Zion Williamson, because Zion Williamson is as explosive as he is. Like, he's going to be available. The dude loves the ball. He lives for the game. He's lost in the game. His commitment, his conditioning, his commitment to team, his commitment to winning. Anthony Davis's numbers in college actually weren't great. I mean, if you think about championship game, in the second half, he told John Calipari, said, "Hey, don't worry about me getting mine. I'm going to defend and rebound. Let the other guys get theirs." So Cooper's an interesting guy because, if he needs to score, he'll score it. If he needs to play make, he'll play make. He takes what the defense gives him and makes the game easier for other people. Like, to me, in your situation where you guys are in Dallas, he couldn't have found a better fit, because, I said this the other day at the Combine. Cooper Flagg had more pressure on him coming in as a 17-year-old freshman at Duke than he will have as the overall number one pick in the NBA draft going to Dallas. You say, wait a second, how's that possible? Well, if you think about it, he's going to Dallas. Number one, they've got a point guard once he gets healthy in Kyrie, and they got a big time shot maker in Clay. They've got Derek Lively who can protect the front of the room, who's continue to get better. Gafford obviously complements him at a very high level. They've got every single, and they got AD. I mean, they got every single position filled. What do they need? They need a three-man that can defend multiple positions, also have the versatility to initiate offense, make enough shots, be a ball mover, the ball doesn't get stuck, have defensive versatility. And because Kyrie's out, depending on what you guys do at the point guard position, he can also be a secondary ball handler. Like Duke a lot of times ran their offense through Cooper Flagg. So, like, for me, fit's the most important thing. Now, do the Mavs have to do other things? Sure, they do. They've got to sign a backup point guard. They got to figure out what they're going to do with PJ. They got to figure out, get Kyrie's deal done. But in terms of the pressure, he's going to be surrounded by three All Stars, and yet here he is, 6'8", with a 7-foot plus wingspan, with a ridiculous skill set, shot making, floor game, an active and alert defender. Everything is fit, everything's opportunity. He's going to a team that, when healthy, could make a deep run in the NBA playoffs. So that's a pretty good situation for the overall number one to go in, because most times the overall number one goes into a bad situation. So I think it's a perfect fit for him.
So when you look at Cooper Flagg's game and the skill set that he brings, what player comes to mind for you that you've coached or watched or seen play that reminds you most of what Cooper Flagg could bring in terms of his skill set to the league?
Yeah, Scottie Pippen. I think he's got a little Scottie Pippen in his game. I think he's got a little Grant Hill in his game. And I think he's got a little Jason Tatum in his game. But to me, those three guys are three pretty good guys to be compared to. Some people would say, I think Ace Bailey's Tracy McGrady, but I really believe that Cooper's versatility. I mean, you don't see a guy that versatile. I mean, like he made some passes, and they played with great spacing, and they ran offense through him a lot. They didn't have like say a pure point guard. Sion James played that position some. Obviously, Tyrese Proctor played the position some. But, if he got defensive rebound, he initiated the fast break. They were in a half court set. It might be a two-man, small ball screen with Con Knippel. But, Pippen, because of his versatility. And I think also, I think Cooper's going to have an impact. You got to remember, he's 18 years old. What were you guys doing at 18?
Not being 6'8" and 220, getting ready to go to the league. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of his emotional, his emotional makeup is incredible.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to.
Is really special.
Yeah, I wanted to ask actually exactly about that, and that's what I hear from people who have known about Cooper Flagg for years now. Back when he was 14 or 15, and back then he was known as, oh my God, this is a defensive prospect. Unlike we've seen. But then what really changed with him is just the work, and you talked about his commitment and dedication to getting better, and he completely transformed his jump shot. That was a huge thing. Maybe still something that needs work, but just leaps and bounds. Where he was a few years ago to where he is now is all the work he put in. You mentioned how he's a really competent, solid passer who makes the sharp reads. That's something that has come along. I think from my understanding, it's something that he's developed at. So I guess the question is just like from when you first started hearing about him, started seeing him, watching him, and to where he is now, even in this short time, what sort of development leaps has he made to get to where he is now? And, he's only 18, so there's more room to go.
I think it started when he played that USA basketball thing in Vegas and the success that he had. All of a sudden, he's playing with the best players in the world, and he's impacting the scrimmage. So I think it started that gave him confidence to build on. I think John did a really good job. Shire did a really good job with him, empowering him and giving him the ball and building a roster around him. And I remember speaking to John that spring, when they lost, they lost some guys to the portal. And, I asked him, like, they lost Roche to Baylor, and they lost, Blakes to Stanford, and they lost some other guys. And he said, no, we're building this team around his skill set. And we're going to put the ball in his hands, and we're going to have the versatility that very few people have. So, I think that it just, repetition, and anything you do, you guys, I don't know if this is a new podcast or an old podcast, the more you do, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you are. Uh, Anything you do in life, you get reps, you get better if you really work at it and learn from your mistakes. So, uh, his feel, his size, his length, his measurables, his competitive spirit are all there, and his skill set. And he played for like a great high school coach. Kevin Boyle, just terrific high school coach. If you think about the guys that played in that program, they're just a bunch of lottery picks, is basically what it is. So he played with other good players. So that like that year was a plus year in terms of practice and getting better. And he wanted that. He left, a state championship high school team, and his brother to go and do that. So, uh, to me, he's got a maturity beyond his years. He loves the game. He's lost in the game. He gets lost in winning, gets lost in his teammates. He gets lost in competing. Though, and he's got a maturity. He's a genuinely, I've been to probably half a dozen practices. Uh, he fits in. Yet he's the baddest dude on the court.
What's the number one aspect of his game that's most NBA ready now that he could come into the league and make an immediate impact with?
But just his feel. Look, he's got size and his measurables are ridiculous. So 6'8.5", 7'1" or 7'2" wingspan. But I mean, like to me, it's not one. I got to answer asked that question on NBA Today. It's not one thing. That's the thing. People want to find one thing and put them in a small box. It's not one thing. It's the totality. It's that he's good at so many things, that he impacts the game so many ways, that his feel is so good, uh, that he basically gets he delivers what needs to be done in that moment in time. You cannot put his skill set in a small box. You can't like say, oh, what's the best? No, can he shoot it? Yeah, he can shoot it. Can he pass it? Yeah, he can pass it. Can he initiate offense? Sure, he can. Does he rebound the ball? Yeah, he does. Does he play out of ball screens? Getting better at it. Probably that's the area he probably needs to improve in the most. Uh, is he competitive on defensive? Yeah. Does he have defensive range? Yes. And what I mean by defensive range is he can be off the ball in the stance, see plays, and because of his wingspan, get deflections. So, like, it's hard to put him in a small box because that's not who he is. Who he is a guy that has got a unique, versatile skill set.
Yeah, and the way he just always challenged himself, you referenced this, but that just stands out so much to me, to be at Nokomis, and then he's like, no, Mount Verde is more challenging, to challenge himself on the EYBL circuit, to challenge himself at Duke, to challenge himself, with the Team USA invite, and then all of a sudden he's playing against Anthony Davis, and literally the best. And people come out of that and say, yeah, Cooper Flagg, he was the best player on the USA reserve team. This is not, there are a lot of ways that Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic are very different. But funny enough, and Luka's always on the mind, especially of late in Dallas, the way that he was always seeking out, reclassifying, playing a year younger, always seeking out tougher competition. I think that works hand in hand. It shows like the level of dedication, what aspirations he has off the court. And just, it kind of reflects on everything that my perception is he's about as a player.
Yeah, like he probably made in real NIL, not pay for play, but real NIL. He probably made $4, $6, $7 million. Didn't change him. He had his own sneaker commercial. Didn't change him. I think he has a Gatorade deal. Didn't change him. Like he's just one of the guys. I mean, it's just the way it is. And he's a guy that will impact winning. And everyone says it. Well, how do you impact winning? By making the right play. How do you impact winning? By being a good teammate. How do you impact winning? By being a two-way player. How do you impact winning? By being easy to play with other people. How do you impact winning? Making the game easier for other people. How do you impact winning? By complimenting the players on your team and fill a void for your team, which they obviously have. So it's a great fit for Dallas. It's a great fit for Cooper. I mean, it really is a win-win. Now the biggest thing is the Mavs got to get healthy. I mean, they got to get healthy. I mean, AD's got to stay healthy. Kyrie's got to get healthy. They got to get some guys signed. If you can get Lively back and Gafford comes back and PJ comes back and you have Cooper and Kyrie and you find another guard that can initiate offense and defend, and Cooper's good, which he will be. You know, you've got a chance to do some interesting things in Dallas.
He spent 22 years as a head coach, two-time ACC Coach of the Year, and currently ESPN college basketball analyst. You can catch him every Saturday during the college basketball season with ESPN's College Game Day. You can find him on X at Seth on Hoops. He is ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg. Seth, thank you so much for the time. Sincerely appreciate it, and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the summer. Maybe you guys make it to Summer League, but I think the Mavs are in for a good run right now.
Appreciate it.
We will see you out there.
We will see you there.
Okay,
appreciate
guys.
it.